Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about my September anticipated releases. So lately I've been doing these pretty extensive lists, and today is no different. There are 90 books that I want to talk about, so let's just go ahead and start talking about them. So open your Goodreads, open your library app, grab a pen and paper, whatever you want to do, let's get talking. So on September 1st, we have Bummer Camp, which is by Anne Garvin, and this was one of the Amazon first reads. I think it's the one I picked, I'm not 100% sure, but it's about two sisters who are trying to save their family's theater camp from being turned into like a rehab center for anxious adults by a like crackpot motivational speaker or something. I don't know. It sounds really interesting. And so I think that's what I picked for Amazon First Reads. Then we have The Bluff by Bonnie Traymore. So this is about a couple that moves from Manhattan or somewhere to a small town on Lake Michigan. And I think the husband dies and their house is like moving closer and closer to the edge of the cliff or whatever, the crumbling bluff. And so I don't know, people disagree about what to do with the house, but the woman who lives there is like wanting to stay, I think, but then her arch nemesis is murdered, and so she's obviously number one suspect, and I think she has secrets, but I don't know what's going on. Sounds messy. Then we have September 3rd. We have Primetime Romance by Kate Robb. So she's the author of This Spells Love, which I liked. And this is about a girl who binges a teenage soap opera. I'm thinking like a la 90210, Dawson's Creek, something like that, because it's like a 90s soap opera. And then she wakes up in that world. That was my fantasy as a young teen. So I'm really intrigued about that one. Then we have The Book Swap by Tessa Bickers. So truthfully, like the cover and title, that's all I need. But this is a story, it says a story of second chances and new beginnings. This is a love letter to books and a love letter to life. And there's like a huge list on Goodreads of books referenced. So they're all like classics. So I don't know if they're going to spoil them, but sounds good. Then we have The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. So I have yet to read a Matt Haig. I may have read A Boy Called Christmas, but that's his middle grade, so I'm assuming that's different. But I have the Midnight Library on my shelf. And this, like, I've heard nothing but good things. So this is about a retired math teacher. She inherits a house on the island of Ibiza from her friend who has died. And so she goes and she's trying to learn about her friend. And it says, what looks like magic is simply a part of life we don't understand yet. Makes sense. Then we have The Christmas Tree Farm by Melody Carlson. So Melody Carlson always writes really cute, really festive, sweet books. And this one is about a woman who goes to her family's Christmas tree farm in Oregon to try to connect with her sister and save their family Christmas tree farm. And there's also her high school sweetheart who's now a widow. Sign me up. Then we have Knots by Colleen Frakes. So this is a semi-autobiographical, whoo, that's a mouthful, graphic novel, middle grade graphic novel about a girl who, I think her life is kind of falling apart. Maybe mom and dad, like her family splitting up, something, and she decides to bleach her hair, and like everything goes wrong. So she's trying to pick up the pieces of her hair, her life, all the things. Then we have Popcorn by Rob Harrell. This is also a middle grade, not a graphic novel, but a middle grade novel about a kid coping with anxiety when everything is going wrong. And it's like the little subheader is something like When Life Turns Up the Heat. And just, I feel like as an anxiety sufferer myself, it's really helpful to see kids work through through their first experiences with anxiety, because this is a tangent that I'm not going to go on, but like that whole like reparenting yourself, I feel like is really helpful. Like thinking about, okay, the first time I encountered anxiety, if I would have looked at it this way, here's how things would be different now. So I am really intrigued. Then we have Meddling with Mistletoe by Liz Johnson. So this is about a girl trying to sell pies at a Christmas market to like earn her way to culinary school. And so she asked her friend, I think, who has an inn, to use her kitchen. And she's like, sure, but then you have to start serving breakfast and you have to watch my kids, which sounds like a good deal for the friend. But so she does, and I think she like there's a guest that tries to matchmake. It turns into a romance of some sort. There's that. Then we have You Belong With Me by Mhairi McFarlane. So I've read one or two Mhairi McFarlanes, and I like them okay. This is number 2 in the series of, it's like Who's That Girl or something. Who's That Girl is number 1. I think the character name is the series, but this is about that character falling in love. Like I said, I'm always willing to glance at Mhairi McFarlane's books, so there's that. Then we have The Bachelorette Party by Sandra Block. So this is a true crime reporter that goes on a bachelorette party to like this haunted mansion or something. They get snowed in, a serial killer's out, like all the things, you know. That's how it goes. Then we have Goodbye Again by Caitlin Moss. So this is about a couple who meets on an airplane, and then they get wherever they're going. I can't remember where they're going. And they spend like the weekend together, and a fortune teller says like, you guys are destined to be together. So over the next 5 years, we kind of follow the couple and how they keep like their paths keep coming together, but it's never the right time. And so they are like, are we destined to be together? What's going on? Whatever. Then we have The Marriage Test by Ellie Monago. It says one tropical island, 4 couples. They believe they're on a TV show to save their marriages, but the people behind the cameras know all their secrets. They're going to be revealed one by one because everybody has something to hide. Bum, bum, bum. Then The Best Is Yet to Come by Jessica Redland. So Jessica Redland is one of those like kind of Kindle Unlimited romance authors that always has the cutest covers. And this is about a retired teacher who helps her boyfriend run one of Beatrix Potter's farms. And she sets up an alpaca walking business and she loves it. But then her and her boyfriend break up, and she has to start over again. So it says the best is yet to come if she can just take a leap of faith and follow her heart. Then we have No One Does It Like You by Katie Shephard. So this is college sweethearts who reunite to restore more than just an old inn. So I'm hoping it's not too steamy, but it sounds good. Then we have The Empress of Cooke County by Elizabeth Bass Parman. So this, I'm just going to read the blurb because it sounds like a lot of layers going on. But it says, set in a gossipy small town during the turbulent 1960s and full of Southern charm and unforgettable characters. This is a novel about found family, what it means to be loved, and how being true to yourself can have life-altering consequences. Sounds good. It sounds almost like Fanny Flagg-esque. So there's that. Then we have September 5th, The Grandmother by Jane E. James. I'm sorry. This is a woman. She has her granddaughter after her daughter has been killed, and she thinks it's the husband who did it. And so she won't give the granddaughter back to the husband. And the husband, she is willing to do anything to keep this child away from the husband. So sounds sinister. Then we have A Christmas in Prague by Helga Jensen. Geez, I don't know why that's a tongue twister. A Christmas in Prague by Helga Jensen. So this is about a woman who her aunt dies or something, and her aunt leaves her a ticket to Prague and says, hey, go find my long lost love. And so she does, and she meets also the long lost love's nephew, and they kind of take their own adventures at Christmas in Prague. What more could you want? Then we have The Girls Who Dared to Love by Diney Costello. This is a historical fiction about like the mistress of the house, so like the daughter of a very wealthy home, and the housemaid, and they team up as World War I begins. So not often that I see a World War I, like we see a lot of World War II, but this one's a World War I historical. Then we have September 6th, The Summer Reunion by Leah Mercer. So this is 6 friends on a holiday, a secret worth dying for fans of Lucy Foley and Sally Hepworth. That's all I need. Sign me up. Then we have Your Little Lies by Sue Fortin. So this is a couple that moves into like a luxury neighborhood. Everything seems perfect. And then she meets her neighbor, and suddenly her safe haven has become like the most dangerous place because for some reason her neighbor, I think, knows something about her, or I don't know. So unless she has to like take matters into her own hands and make sure this neighbor doesn't become a problem. Don't know. Then we've got Beneath the Lemon Trees by Emma Burstall. So this is about it says this woman lost a friend, and she lost her marriage, and she goes to the island of Crete in Greece to start over. And I just love that. It's a little weird timing to have that coming out in September. It feels very summery, but there we go. Then we have September 9th, My Sister's Boyfriend by Nicola Marsh. So this woman, her job was like to help ex-prisoners get their feet back under them as they re-enter the real world. And there's this guy who she knows like he is getting out kind of scot-free, and so that guy starts dating her sister, and I think she's really wanting to like protect her sister, and because she knows that this guy is a murderer, and so there's that. Then we have Now You Are Mine by Amanda Brittany. Is that right? Yeah. It's 6 people at an art retreat, and things turn sinister as they go missing one by one. Those isolated thrillers get me every time. Then we have All My Fault by Emma Robinson. So I have read a few Emma Robinsons, and they are also like Kindle Unlimited tearjerker, heartbreaker, make you think kind of books. And this is about a woman's daughter. She's in the hospital, and she thinks that her daughter, I think the daughter's like a teenager. She thinks her daughter was put there by her boyfriend, and she feels a lot of guilt because if she and her daughter argued, and so the daughter ran off to be with her boyfriend and then got hurt and was in the hospital. Now daughter is not going to be okay, but the daughter is pregnant. So kind of reminds me of The Promise of Stardust, which I just recently read. Because she is fighting to save the baby that her daughter is carrying. Then we have The Accidental Plus One, Travel Tales from a Trailing Spouse by Allison Ripley Cubitt. So this one just sounds funny because this one's relatable to me. When I was pregnant, my husband traveled like 75% of the time when we were dating, when we were engaged, all that kind of stuff. And then, so when I was pregnant with our first kiddo, I stopped working. Well, I didn't necessarily stop working, but I kind of went down to part-time and traveled with him a lot. And I was definitely just like the trailing spouse, and it was really fun. But this is about her husband gets a job in Australia, and she is just ready for a fresh start. So she kind of jumps ship on everything and goes to Australia, and then I think they end up going other places together. I love travel memoirs, so there's that. Then we have September 10th, Here One Moment by Liane Moriarty. So I think I've read every Liane Moriarty. If not, I'm really close. So the little blurb on this is, if you knew your future, would you try to fight fate? Sounds like all the books that I love, like The Measure, all those kind of dystopian things where somehow we get knowledge about our future, and what do we do with that knowledge? And I trust Liane Moriarty, so I'm definitely going to read that. Then we have The Accidental Holiday by Mimi Deb. This says it's for fans of Beth O'Leary, who I don't love, and Emily Henry, who I usually like. This is a trip of a lifetime, a dream destination, and an unexpected roommate. So, forced proximity rom-com, sign me up. Then we have Before We Were Us by Denise Hunter, another kind of famous, or not famous, favorite author of mine. She used to write like primarily Christian fiction. Now she pretty much writes clean fiction. This is about a woman who takes a temp job running like this family run resort. It's not her family, but she runs this family run resort. I think she decides to stay after she falls in love with like the son of the owner. And then she falls off a ladder, and she doesn't remember their relationship at all. She remembers when she first got there, and her and this guy were like kind of butting heads, and she had a crush on this small town doctor. And so now that small town doctor is widowed and available, I think widowed and available. And so she doesn't remember any of her relationship with the guy she's actually with. So what does she do? I don't know. Now we have Not Another Banned Book by Dana Allison Levy. This is about a middle grade book about a group of kids who are trying to save like their book club, and they're trying to stop the banning of books. I love that idea. Fully support it. There we go. Then we have Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. A lot of you guys probably know about this. This is a sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea, which is very beloved. I feel like I've heard a couple people who really don't like it, but for the most part, people really like it. I enjoyed it enough to read this next one, so there's that. Then we have So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. So Rachel Harrison is an author that I have wanted to try, but she writes like thrillers, borderline horrors. So I'm not sure, but this is about a woman's husband gives her and her best friend a trip for her birthday. So her and her best friend go on this trip, and her best friend is like, hey, your husband's a cheater. You got to like live your life, do some things. So she plans this elaborate night out, and things go very wrong. Then we have Katherine the Wright Sister by Tracy Anderson Wood. So this is a historical fiction about the sister of the Wright brothers as they were like planning their first flight. So I don't know anything about her, haven't heard anything about her, so I think this is really intriguing. Then we have The Book Lover's Library by Madeline Martin. Again, you don't have to say much more than that to get me to pick up a book, but this is a heartwarming story about a mother and daughter in wartime England and the power of books that bring them together. That's all I need. Like mother-daughter, bookish, World War II. I love all those things. Then we have Casket Case by Lauren Evans. So this is, it's a charming debut rom-com about a woman who returns home to run her family's casket business and falls in love with a seemingly perfect stranger. However, this stranger works for, he's like a logistics coordinator for death itself. So sounds really weird. Magical realism. Maybe a good fall thing. Then we have Double Exposure by Elisa R. Sloan. So this is about a couple who, they're both actors, and they broke up. And now, for some reason, like personally and professionally, they continue to be drawn together. And so, is it a second chance romance? Like the cover kind of looks like there's more going on, like something maybe more sinister or more like seedy or something. But maybe I'm just making assumptions, and this is just a second chance romance. I'm not sure. Then we have The Swimmer by Lorith Ann White. This is about a main character named Chloe, so I always love that. And she witnesses the murder of a swimmer, and her neighbors seem really suspicious, and maybe they were involved. So it says, a deviously twisty novel of psychological suspense about secrets, neighbors, a need to belong, and murder. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, then we have The Love Habit, Daily Self-Care Practices for a Happier Life and Healthier Relationships by Rainey Howard. So this is about, it's like practical ways to love yourself and others better. So her 4 steps, I think, are learn, optimize, validate, and experience, which spells LOVE. So yeah, that sounds like a nonfiction I can get behind. Then we have How to Hide in Plain Sight by Emma Noyes. This is about a woman who goes home to her brother's wedding after not seeing her family for like 3 years, and she runs into her first love. And now this sounds like just kind of a romance from the synopsis, but I think this is definitely more literary and has a lot of good OCD rep. She's kind of scared of going home because she has fought her way kind of out of OCD and has figured out kind of how to do it, and she's afraid of like falling into a spiral. So I think this is a literary fiction about the OCD rep with romance. Then we have September 11th, The Other Mrs. Eden by Becky Alexander. So this is about a woman's assistant that begins kind of taking over her life, and tragedy strikes. The assistant has to protect her secrets. We've all read these kind of books before, but I really enjoy them. Then we have September 12th, A Mother's Betrayal by Louise Guy. So twins sit by their mother's hospital bed and really start to learn more about their mom from her journal. And it says it makes them question everything. If you can't trust your mother, who can you trust? And with their mother's life in the balance, can the sisters find a way to forgive before it's too late? So what did that mom do? I have to know. Then we have September 15th, A New Arrival at Duck Pond Cottage by Della Galton. So this is about a woman who starts an animal rescue center, and 2 men fall for her. I think it's kind of a love triangle. It's like the vet and her employee that both fall for her. And she has a secret that proves that love's not always enough. I don't know. She just sounds sweet. It looks like a cute cover. And an animal rescue center, it's like weird animals too, I think. So I don't know. Then we have Crazy for You by Marnie Vinge. This is about an ex-pop star who left the limelight because she accidentally killed her best friend, and she had a stalker, and now someone is sending her like gruesome images of her best friend, and she like has to protect herself because I think they want revenge. I don't know, like there's a lot missing from that synopsis, so I'm not exactly sure, but I'm interested. Then we have September 17th, The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave. So Laura Dave's another one that I think I've read everything she's written. She writes some like women's fiction, some mystery thriller. This one is about a woman and her estranged brother who come together to solve their father's death. So I think probably more on the women's fiction, literary fiction side of things. Then we have When We Flew Away, a novel of Anne Frank before the diary by Alice Hoffman. So this is really interesting. This is a fictionalized version of what may have happened to Anne Frank prior to the start of where we get in her diary. And Alice Hoffman is a very well-known author who does a lot of really great things. So I'm excited to see what she does with it. And then we have We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. So I have yet to read a Richard Osman, but he is the author of the Thursday Night Murder Club. And this one I think is about a father and his daughter-in-law who maybe team up to solve murders. She's like an adrenaline junkie. He loves the comfort of the routine. But I've heard that he does a really great job of doing these kind of cozy mysteries with older characters. So I'm intrigued. Then we have The Banned Books Club by Brenda Novak. So this is about a woman, her sister is like, hey, can you come home and help me? Mom fell, she needs help, whatever, come help me. And the woman's like, I really don't want to because there's a lot of things in this hometown that I don't want to face, but she does. She goes back, and one of the things there is she had a scandal with a teacher. She accused him of misconduct, and now she goes back, and the banned book club that she started when she was there like as a I think a late teenager or something, is still there, and they're kind of siding between her and this teacher, and her sister disappears, and so I'm not really sure. It sounds like a multi-layered women's fiction, just like I like. Then we have The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. So this is a memoir from the person who played Lorelai's mom, and she always had a really stuffy kind of negative persona in the not always, but in the show, and so I'm really excited to hear what that was like for her. Then we have An American Story by Wilmer Valderrama, so another memoir about Wilmer Valderrama, who played in That 70s Show. Again, I'm a sucker for a celebrity memoir, so there's that. Then we have Can't Help Falling in Love by Sophie Sullivan. So this is a very fall-looking cover and premise. This is about a struggling waitress and the heir to a major Seattle company stumble into a high-profile fake engagement while simultaneously trying to keep up with their own love lives in this flirty fall rom-com. I love fall rom-coms. There's not enough of them in my opinion, so bring on fall. Bring on all things fall. Then we have I Dreamed of Falling by Julia Dahl. This is about a woman, her boyfriend, who is a reporter, tries to figure out what happened to his girlfriend. She went missing. They have like a 4-year-old together, and she was found dead in a small Hudson Valley town where nothing ever happens. And so what was she doing? What happened? Don't know. Then we have The Beautiful Game by Yamil Saeed Mendez. This is a middle grade about a soccer player who she is so good. She's coached by her grandpa. She always plays on boys teams to be even more competitive. And then she starts her period in white shorts in the middle of a game. They lose the game, and she becomes like kind of the town pariah. And everybody is not very nice to her. And so she kind of rallies with the help of her best friend and her grandma and gets a girls team going, or joins a girls team, and they become even better. So there's that. Then we have If Anything Happens to Me by Luann Rice. So the infamous, famous, well-renowned Luann Rice is writing a YA thriller about 2 girls trying to find a killer on the loose. I'm just curious. Like, she has written for so long, so many adult romances, thrillers, romantic suspense kind of things. What is this going to be like? I don't know. Then we have Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. So this is about a 30-year-old girl who works in a bookstore, and she has to hide her like witchy powers. And as she is about to turn 30, she has to take some sort of test, and she'll either lose her powers forever or not. I'm getting major Sabrina the Teenage Witch vibes. So again, sign me up. Give me all things fall. Then we have The Start of the Story by Jane Lovering. So this one, I don't know a whole lot about it, except there's a couple stranded in a snowstorm together. They both have their own things going on. So they're starting their story together, as well as their individual stories starting over, you know. Then we have Something Lost, Something Gained, Reflections on Life, Love, and Liberty by Hillary Rodham Clinton. So I am fascinated by this woman. And I will read anything she writes. So sign me up. Then we have September 18th, Coming Home to Stars Fall by Kate Hewitt. So Kate Hewitt has written quite a few emotional books that really get me good. And I think this one is just like a Stars Fall, but Stars Hollow-esque romance. I don't know. It's about a woman who owns she's wanting to start, I think, a pet store / bakery, which, I mean, sounds like problematic. But then there's a grumpy bookstore manager across the street. Sounds sweet. Sounds very cozy. Then we have The Childminder by Haley Smith. This is about a group of moms who they rotate picking their kids up. So there's a group of 4 or 5 kids. Every mom has a day. They pick up the kids after school, take them somewhere, and then they all start getting notes that somebody knows their secrets. And then one by one, something happens to the moms, and we're trying to figure out what happened. Then we have The Lac House Children by Greg Dunnett. So this is a story that sounds very vague, but about a lake house that burns down. Everyone dies except for the mom. And the mom is saying some really weird, impossible things. And she's like, listen, this is what my son told me before this went down. So I think it's told from an FBI perspective, which is not normally my favorite, but it sounds like an interesting premise. Then we have September 19th, The Orphan with No Name by Shirley Dixon. So Shirley Dixon is another one that I don't know that I've read much from, but I have a few of hers on my shelf. And this is about a 10-year-old girl who wakes up and she's in a hospital. It's World War II time, I think. And she has no idea who she is, and no idea. So she gets sent to a Scottish orphanage. I think there's a strict headmaster. She makes friends with this little girl. They decide to be sisters and to find out who they are. Then we have September 21st, Falling for Province by Alison Roberts. This is about a woman who goes to the south of France to start over, and she meets a single dad, adopts a dog, all the things. I've heard this one is very atmospheric, so send me to the south of France. I'll take it. Then we have September 23rd, Not Your Child by Sheila Norton. So this is about a woman's husband. Well, a woman, her husband was like, hey, I'm going to go to this new town. I'm going to set up everything for us, and then you and our daughter come. Well, this other woman knows what's going on, and she's like, hey, he's not coming back. That's not where he actually is. Like, he's gone. And so she befriends the mom. They become really good friends. This new girl, really takes to the daughter, and I think she starts overstepping, and things maybe get sinister. Then we have My Husband's Past by Sherry J. Ryan. So it says, my best friend disappeared 20 years ago. I thought she was dead, but today I've received a message that makes my heart stop. It says it's from Izzy, and she's blaming my new husband for her disappearance. Eek. Then we have September 24th. This is a big day. So we've got Rachel Weisz's Group Chat by Lauren Applebaum. So this has kind of less than ideal early ratings, but this is about a woman who's about to turn 30. Her mom's trying to set her up with the guy next door. I think he's like a millionaire next door. And her group chat with her friends is like her saving grace. And then that falls apart for some reason. And I think she starts connecting with the guy. So I think it's a romance. I don't really know. Then we have The Color of Home by Kit Tassello. This is a debut Christian fiction about a woman going home and starting over. And I think the cover is really great. And I am always looking for new Christian fiction authors. So a debut, if it's great, that's awesome. Then we have A Home for the Holidays by Taylor Hahn. So this is about a woman going home for Christmas. It's a special time of year for her because it was when her alcoholic mother was like, okay, her mom can somehow always pull it together for Christmas. And now this Christmas, her mom dies 2 weeks before Christmas. And so I think there's kind of like an estranged or a secret best friend who helps her learn more about her mom. But it says an exploration of complicated grief, mother-daughter relationships, loving someone with addiction, and the redemptive power of opening one's heart to love in all its forms. So this one sounds really deep, relatable, all the things. Then we have What in the World? A Southern Woman's Guide to Laughing at Life's Unexpected Curveballs and Beautiful Blessings by Leanne Morgan. So I just love that. I love when I can get kind of a lighthearted take on the craziness of life, because sometimes I can get really like narrowed in on the day-to-day and miss perspective, and I feel like this can help. Then we have All They Need to Know by Eileen Googe. So Eileen Googe is another author that I don't know that I've actually read, but I have a few of hers. And she, this story is about this woman who's like escaping her abusive husband with her adopted dog. And she goes to somewhere in California and befriends this group called the Tattoos Ladies Club. And she kind of lets them in slowly. She meets a guy, just her starting over. Then we have Adam and Evie's Matchmaking Tour by Nora Wynn. It says a rollicking, unforgettable romance about two strangers finding love despite their best effort as they embark on a sweeping matchmaking tour through Vietnam, perfect for readers of Carly Fortune and Abby Jimenez. I really like both those authors. Sounds cute. I hope it's not too steamy, but I think it sounds cute. Then we have The Small and Mighty, 12 Unsung Americans Who Changed the Course of History from the founding movement to the Civil Rights Movement by Sharon McMahon. So Sharon Says So on Instagram and stuff, and I feel like she does she just makes politics understandable and relatable, and I love her. I love her Instagram, and so I'm excited to see what her book's like. Then we have When the World Tips Over by Jane D. Nelson. So Jane D. Nelson writes primarily YA fiction. This is about a group of kids. I think there's 3. Their father disappeared years ago, kind of left them in shambles. And now some mysterious rainbow-haired girl shows up, and she's like really pivotal in all their lives. She's kind of like an angel, and then she disappears, leaving them kind of even more broken than they were before. So this says, with road trips, rivalries, family curses, love stories within love stories, and sorrows and joys that pass from generation to generation, this is the intricate, luminous tale of a family's complicated past and present. Only telling their stories can help rewrite their futures. So I don't know. I heard somebody read it or haul it or something, and I was intrigued. Then we have Counting Miracles by Nicholas Sparks. So you guys know I just recently hauled a bunch of Nicholas Sparks. I'm for some reason feeling like Nicholas Sparks needs to happen. So here's a new one. This is about an Army Ranger that is raised by his grandparents, and then his grandma dies and says like, hey, go find where you're meant to be. Here's who your dad is and where he is. So he goes to find his dad before he has to go to his next duty station and meets this girl. I think she's a single mom. I'm sure it's going to be heartbreaking. Then we have The Christmas Inn by Pamela Kelly. So this is about a woman who goes to help her mom at the family inn. It's very festive. There's her high school sweetheart. I think he's a single dad. I love those tropes, you know. Then we have The Holiday Cottage by Sarah Morgan. So Sarah Morgan comes out with a Christmas book, I think, every year. And so I don't need to know really anything about it to pick it up. But this is about a workaholic who's forced to spend time away at a cottage. There's an older lady who helps her, and I'm sure it's going to be great. Then we have Her Christmas Secret by Gabrielle Meyer. So Gabrielle, I'm not sure exactly. She is she's blown up on BookTube lately. And I really want to read her books, but she, I guess, writes for like Harlequin, because I think this is a love-inspired romance about a school principal who gave up her daughter and allowed her mom to raise her. But now, for whatever reason, she has to kind of take over and be the parent. And she meets a single dad. Their girls become friends. You know how that goes. Then we have All I Want Is You by Fallon Ballard. So this is about two exes who are now like rival romance authors. And I think he's kind of a Nicholas Sparks-esque romance author who writes like no happy endings. And they go on a conference. They're snowed in. There's only one room. You know how it goes. Then If I Were You by Seska Major. So Seska Major writes kind of like magical realism, slight sci-fi things. And this one is about a couple who are struggling in their relationship, and then they wake up and they've accidentally switched bodies. That sounds like a great thing. So I really am intrigued. Then we have Kiss Me at Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. So this says White Christmas meets Nora Ephron in Jenny Bayliss' latest wholehearted ensemble cast holiday extravaganza. So I really like kind of one, I love Nora Ephron, and White Christmas is such a long movie. I've honestly never sat through it, but I'm not a movie person. And Jenny Bayliss is hit and miss with me. So this is about a woman who, I think her adult daughter is like, hey, I'm going to go to New York instead of coming home. And so she kind of has this one night, like a wine-induced one-night stand, and then she takes the fall for a bunch of kids who broke into the town theater. And so the person, like the owner of the theater, is like, okay, then I need you to direct the Christmas play. And I think they're like helping save the theater or something. The theater's lawyer is the guy she had a one-night stand with. So like I said, it's a whole ensemble, gonna be fun and quirky, I'm sure. Then we have Meet Me in a Mile by Elizabeth something, I'm not sure. This is about a woman who's not a runner, but she signs up for the New York Marathon. So of course she gets a personal trainer, and it turns into a romance. And then I think there's a little bit of a love triangle with her and her like the personal trainer, as well as like her office crush. And now the reason, like, I am nervous this is going to get too steamy, but the reason I'm interested is because running and books are like two of my biggest passions. And so when I can find a book that combines those things, I usually like it. So if it's not too steamy, I think it'll be great. Then we have The Christmas You Found Me by Sarah Morgenthaler. So Sarah Morgenthaler has written another Christmas series. I can't remember what it's called. But this is the start of a new series about a single dad, found family, small town, quirky animals, snowy rustic scenes, all the things I love. Then we have Eat, Sleep, Tantrum, Repeat, How to Parent Like a Pediatrician and Keep Your Toddler Happy and Healthy by Rebecca Diamond. So I think she may be a pediatrician, and we get both like the medical side of things as well as like a mom who's been there. And I feel like I can always use parenting help. I can always use a different perspective. So there's that. Then we have The Personal Assistant by Becky Willis. So another personal assistant thriller. But this one is about a woman who's lost everything. Now she gets offered the job as a personal assistant to a woman who inherited this business from her late husband. And the boss lady, she sends her on weird errands. She's got weird intentions. Then we have The Hitchcock Hotel by Stephanie Roble. This says a Hitchcock fanatic with an agenda invites old friends for a weekend stay at his secluded themed hotel in this fiendishly clever, suspenseful new novel. I'm interested. Then we have September 26th, My Year of Casual Acquaintances by Ruth F. Stevens. This is about a divorced woman starting over. Truthfully, it's the cover that got me. There's books, there's workout stuff. I am intrigued. Then we have The Second Marriage by Rebecca De Winter. This is about a woman named Emily. She has the perfect life, the perfect husband, the perfect daughter, but she also has the perfect secret, one that could destroy everything she holds dear, one that could ruin her. What is it? I gotta know. Then Christmas at the Little Paris Hotel by Rebecca Raisin. This is about a woman who gets a rundown hotel in Paris, like in somebody's will or something, or in her divorce or something. And so she goes and she's like, cool, my plan is to tidy it up, sell it ASAP, whatever. Well, that's not going to happen. And so she's like, okay, I need to tidy it up in time for Christmas and see if I can sell it. I think she might host like a book retreat of some sort. But there's a grumpy American bar owner across the street. You know, it's going to be great. Then September 27th, The Child I Long For by Caroline Finnerty. This is about a couple who lost their daughter tragically, and their marriage kind of went with it. Now she is going home to Ireland, where she hasn't been in forever, and she sees her ex-husband with a 5-year-old, so she knows her husband has kind of started over. I don't know if she gets a second chance with him or just starts over. I'm not sure. Then we have Things We Never Say by Caitlin Weaver. So this says 3 mothers, 3 secrets, 1 devastating scandal. In this gripping tale of scandal, deception, and female solidarity, 3 women discover the steep price of perfection and the unshakable strength of friendship. A riveting, emotional story that will captivate fans of Big Little Lies, Lucinda Berry, and Jodi Picoult. Love all those things. But I think this is about like 3 school moms. One of their husbands is like the headmaster, so she's trying to protect him. I don't know what's going on. Then September 30th, Death on Deck by Courtney Bradley. So this is the Courtagonist. If you guys follow her here on YouTube, I'll link her down below. The Courtagonist, she loves cozy mysteries and has written one, and it comes out September 30th. So I would love to read it just to support her. Then last is Lies He Told Me by James Patterson and David Ellis. So both of those are pretty big name thriller authors, and this is about an attorney and her, she's an attorney and mother of 2. She discovers her husband's secret life, and it might cost him everything. But truthfully, I don't care what the synopsis is. David Ellis and James Patterson teaming up, like this has got to be great, right? So that's everything that's coming out in September. 90 books in 36 minutes. Whew! I am going to go get a drink. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which ones you are excited for, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.